All right, Bible readers, what is the more excellent way? Hey, our study today comes out of our reading from 1 Corinthians 12, chapter 12 through chapter 16. And we're going to focus specifically on one verse. 1 Corinthians 12:31 says, "But covet earnestly the best gifts." This is Paul talking. And he says, "And yet show I unto you a more excellent way." So what is this more excellent way? Well, if you see right after the word gifts, there's a colon, right? Two little dots. And then Paul's declaration to show us a more excellent way. And then if you go to the next chapter, chapter 13, it starts out with though I, right? So it's chapter 13 is simply a continuation of chapter 12. And this is kind of what I want to get to here, because I believe 1 Corinthians 13 is the answer. He's showing us what the more excellent way is in chapter 13 of 1 Corinthians. But here's where so many people get confused. The question is it charity or is it love? What does your Bible say? See, these are different words. They mean different things. Sure, charity can be a form of love, but so can me loving my motorcycle or loving ice cream. That's a type of love. I can love my dog. I can love my daughter. I can love others. There's all these different variations of love. A lot of people like to talk about agape love. Well, that's a specific kind of love. And so it does not behoove us to just mash these things together and go, oh, it all means the same. Okay. I've challenged a lot of Christians over the years about this issue of, is it charity or is it love, depending on what Bible version you're reading. And people just kind of throw up their hands and go, it's all love, blah, and but they would never do that when talking about their own child. They would never equate the love they have for their dog or the love they have for chocolate ice cream with the love they have for their child. See, people won't do it there, but when it comes to God's words, we'll just mash it all together. It's all the same, Well, that's not having integrity. And I often say words matter, and I guarantee you God is the ultimate wordsmith. He, God never, used a modern colloquialism where he would say something like, whatever, or you know what I mean, or it's all good. Okay, this is not how God is. God is a wordsmith, and he chose his words in the best way possible to communicate what he wanted to communicate to us. So look, check this out. Charity only shows up 28 times in the Bible. It's all in the New Testament. It starts with the Apostle Paul, and the Apostle Paul uses that word charity 21 times. And then the remaining 7 are used by a couple other authors of books after Paul's books. On the contrary, the word love shows up 311 times in the Bible. 180 of those are in the New Testament. So are you still going to tell me that charity and love are it's just the same thing? Come on. Let's get real for a minute. So why would God suddenly choose to use the word charity in 1 Corinthians 13? The first time it shows up is in 1 Corinthians chapter 8, and it's setting up. Okay, a lot of people like to talk about context, and they'll go a few verses before and a few verses after or whatever. But I oftentimes argue the entire Bible is the context. And certainly when you're talking about a letter written to a specific group of people, the whole book is the context. And so I assure you, chapter 8 is setting up this idea of charity. And I think the ultimate expression of it is in 1 Corinthians 13. And then there's a few more uses of it after that. So my question for you, if you're listening to this, why does almost the entire Christian community refer to 1 Corinthians 13 as the love chapter, when clearly the word is charity? And look, let's just apply logic for a minute. You would never donate to a love organization, right? You donate money or goods or time or whatever, talent, to a charitable organization. See, it's all under this great big umbrella of love, but it's charity. It's a different type of love. Just like agape love is a different kind of love. Okay, so let's have integrity with our words. So grab your Bible. What does your Bible say? Does it say love or does it say charity? And does it matter? And what I want to challenge you to do is if your Bible says love, then what else does your Bible say that might not be correct? And in the notes, you're going to see a whole list of verses and what to look for in each of those verses. And I would challenge you, go through your Bible. There's 15 verses. That won't take very long. And I think you're going to find it very interesting in the kind of revelation that not all Bibles are the same. Some are taking away from the deity of God. Some have someone else killing Goliath. Did you know that? Hey, we all know David killed Goliath, right? It's one of the most famous stories. I mean, it's right up there with the John 3:16 verse. Everybody knows David killed Goliath with his slingshot, right? But did you know that for years and years and years, decades, the NIV, the New International Version, oh, the lauded NIV, said that Elhanan killed Goliath. Well, they finally fixed it. Hooray for them. Okay, but that's just one mistake that they have in their Bible. So if you have a modern NIV, it's going to be corrected. But go look up the original early 80s NIV and you'll see that Elhanan killed Goliath. It's a big fat mistake. All right, and there's tons of other ones. You know, there's questions as to whether or not Mary is a virgin in many other Bible versions. There's a question of who wrote the Bible. You know, what were they, holy men or were they just men? There's all kinds of things. So there's just 15 here. This is just a sampling of potentially hundreds, if not thousands, of issues with other versions when you get away from the King James Bible. So is it charity or is it love? I would challenge you to think on these things and just understand and remember there's a broad spectrum of love. You know, you could go watch a movie and go, oh, I love that movie. And then next week you kind of forget about it, maybe. Certainly in a few months or a year, maybe you forget about that movie. Okay. Obviously, the love that you have for a movie is kind of a momentary type of thing compared to like the love for your child or the love for Jesus Christ. So that's what I got for you today. I hope you find some inspiration. I hope you find this thought-provoking, and I hope that you have hope because I'm trying to deal in hope here. So have a good Bible read. If you think this video might help somebody else, please share it. Please subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you are alerted when I post another video. Again, thanks for being here, and I hope that you have a great Bible read.